Hello and welcome back to TCG Inform. So within the last video I showed off the brief guide to the Gate Guardian deck profile I had showed off. But now it is time on comment request for Mitsurugi at Ignister. As I said within the last video, the at Ignister cards and the Cyburst links, at least which ones I don't have, will be proxies as they're not cards a deck that I would really like to build. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So for the Mitsurugi half of the deck, we have one Ame no Habakiri no Mitsurugi, two copies of Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi, one Futsu no Mitama no Mitsurugi, one Saji, one Kusanagi, and one Aramasa. That is all for the monsters. Let's get into our spells. For the spells, we have two copies of Mitsurugi Ritual, one copy of Mitsurugi Mirror, three copies of Mitsurugi Prayers. That's all for our spells for Mitsu. Let's get into our traps. And for our traps, only one, Mitsurugi Great Purification. And that's all for that. So let's get right in to the Ignister half. As I said, the Ignister half is all proxies, but I will be telling the effects of the Ignister cards as we go on. So, first we have three copies of Backup at Ignister. Now what Backup at Ignister does is, if you control a Cyburst monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, it special summons itself. And if it was normal or special summoned, it may add a Dark Cyburst monster from your deck to your hand, except Backup, and then discard a card. Next, we have Wizard at Ignister at one copy. Wizard at Ignister, if you control a Cyburst monster that was special summoned from the extra, same special summoning condition as Wizard, but it allows you also to target a Dark Cyburst monster in your grave and special summon both this and that monster in defense. But their effects are negated, and you can only summon Cybursts for the rest of the turn. And you can banish this card from the field or grave, target a monster the opponent controls to change battle position, but that does not really matter too much. Three copies of the only other main deck at Ignister, Achichi at Ignister. Achichi at Ignister, if it is normal or special summoned, it may add a level 4 or lower at Ignister monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. And at the start of the damage stuff, if a Cyburst monster battles, you can banish the card from the grave, destroy that monster. And that is all for our at Ignister half. So let's get into the non-archetypals. So for non-archetypals, we have one copy of Nightsword Serpent, three copies of Ash Blossom, two copies of Droll and Lockbird, one copy of Molchami Forlos, and one copy of Molchami Aurelia. That is all for the monsters of our non-archetypals. Let's go to the spells. For the spells, we have three copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites, three copies of Signet Mining, one copy of Triple Tactics Talent, and one called By the Grave. Now let's get into the trap cards. And for the trap cards, only three. That'd be three copies of Infinite Impermanence. Now let's go on to our extra deck. As I said, Cyburst links will also be said, except for the first two, being two link ones, in the form of Lingaribo and Salamangrate Omirage. One copy each. They are both just their most ideal purpose is just being link monsters that you can use, like if you normal summon a Chi-Chi, add a backup, link off your Chi-Chi into either Omirage or Lingaribo, then use backup's effect, summon itself, wizard, make a link 2. Which will now go into our link 2s. We'll just keep it as that. Our link 2 is Splash Mage. Splash Mage allows you to target a Cyburst monster in your grave, special summon it in defense but negate its effects, and then you're locked into special summoning Cybursts. Then we have one copy of IP Masquerena, one copy of SP Little Knight. Now onto our link 2 still, sorry. One copy of Dynamondo. No, two copies of Dynamondo. Very sorry. Two copies of Dynamondo. Now, two link 3s. One copy of Nightmare Unicorn. And one copy of Dark Templar at Ignister. Dark Templar ad ignister. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, even during the damage step, which is really good, you can special summon as many level 4 or lower ad ignister monsters from your grave to zones this card points to. So you can summon 2, basically, unless you somehow increase its level. But their effects are negated. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it may special summon a Cybers from the graveyard. Then we have access code Talker into our link 4s. 1 access code Talker. Access code Talker allows you on summon to target a link monster in your grave and gain 1000 attack each for its link rating, and allows you to banish link monsters from your field or grave to target cards on the board and target cards in your opponent's field and destroy them. Now for our link 5, the big guy of this deck, Allied Code Talker at ignister. Allied Code Talker at ignister. If this card is link summoned, you can special summon as many Cyburst monsters with 2,300 attack from your graveyard as possible. So basically, I think 1 with this deck. I don't know. Really. And he gains 500 attack for each. Cannot special summon for the rest of his turn as a drawback. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you may attribute 1 of your link monsters the card points to negate the activation, and if you do, banish the card, but that's only once per turn. Then onto some generic cards as well. 1 copy of number 41, Baguska the Terribly Tired Tapir, 1 Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, 1 number 60, Dugarius Timeless, and 1 copy of Superstar Slayer, Typhon Sky Crisis. Now, that's it for the extra deck, and let's move on to the side deck, shall we? So, for the side deck, it's pretty short, being 1 copy of Lightning Storm, 2 copies of Book of Eclipse, 1 copy of Evenly Matched, 1 copy of 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance, 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance, and 3 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being. I didn't really know what else to put in the side deck. If you can think of something, suggest it to me in the comments. But yeah. I think this deck's weird. Yeah, it's a bit weird because you have to basically... Yeah, that's all for the next video. But if there's stuff I think you should add, you could probably add a few more ad ignisters, like Doshin ad ignister, the Earth, and Hydrari ad ignister. I think it's called the Water one, which allows you to do the same, allows you to summon and can get you more into your link plays. If you wanted to play more, you could play the Malice Malice engine. 1 Dormouse, I think 1 Dormouse, 2 White Rabbit, 1 Dormouse, 2 White Rabbit, and 2 Chessy Cat for the main deck with 1 Red Ransom and some more, I think. I don't know if any of those are banned in the TCG banned. I think some of them are limited, but I don't know. But yeah, that's really it for this deck profile. Sorry if it was really confusing. I'm very sorry if the proxies were not what you were thinking. I tried my best to explain it. This video will not have a short because I feel like it's just better if it is a full video. So, thank you guys for watching. Please do like and subscribe to get people to see this content a bit more. And I'll see y'all in the warp.